Okay.
Nice to see you. And here's a thought. When I think about Twitter and blog, one of the things I find is that online, right in my den, I feel like I know people and so on, but in my school community, there's people don't know that a few people know that I'm on Twitter, but I'm not there with them. I'm not on Twitter with my colleagues from my building, and partly because that's not what they're doing. I don't know if they're on Facebook or, but it's just interesting to me, this phenomenon of outreach. This seems is very public, and then what's going on in my building is a contrast. Simply, I mean, not better or worse, but just that it's not the same group of people. And I wonder how the rest of you experience your involvement in social media versus your in-building situation.
Yeah. I guess for me, I've been blogging, I want to say, for like 2 years now, and using social media for about that long, maybe slightly longer, for educational purposes. And I have tried to use it with my students and with my colleagues, and I see that there's starting to be some progress in that area, but the progress is still kind of slow. So I think that it just goes to kind of being open to I guess to connect, and there's been some colleagues who have just jumped on board. Some of my students have been really excited about it as well, but I feel like I don't know, I'm impatient. I just wish everyone could see the benefit like right away and just go, but I guess baby steps.
Mm-hmm. I love that you mentioned the blogging for the students, because I used to do there's a website, I think it was Schools 24, you might know it better, but where the kids blogged for reading response. So I had all the students had accounts, and then they would blog instead of the old style composition book journals that teachers would lug home, piles of them. Well, it was all online, and I had to, of course, release them out, and I would comment, and they would read each other's comments, and it was this whole community that instead of a reading response online, and I got shut down by the district because it wasn't approved, which was really sad. Yeah. That's why I don't remember it now, but it was outstanding.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want to lose my job. So then I did it in postcards, and I had a little, where the kids would blog on their little postcards and put them up, and they had to read so many, and we tried to do it with paper. Nearly as successful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is anyone in here going to or thinking about doing blogging with their students this year? And if so, what platforms are you all thinking about? This is something that's been a topic of discussion over the summer a little bit, because Kid Blog is no longer going to be free. And so I'm just wondering, have you all thought about that?
Yeah, I was looking at different options, and we did like a Google Hangout at one point. And Danessa, who is in the EduMatch Voxer group, she suggested Weebly. They have education.weebly.com, which is, like, from what I saw, the interface was very similar to KidBlog, but I think that it's blocked for us. They said because of email phishing or something like that. So,
oh no.
Yeah, so I might just have to, pay.
Yeah. Can I chime in? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I've used Weebly before, and what I found was it was quite easy to use, and but there's a limit. I found once you get to a certain number, you've got to pay per student, so it can be quite costly. And the other thing I've heard about is one called, I don't know if anyone's heard of EduBlogs.
Yeah.
I haven't used it yet, but I've heard it's pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard of EduBlogs, and I've been thinking about it for this year. I've used it myself personally. I think it is one of the more, it's not a difficult interface, but I think it's definitely one of the more, I don't know. I don't know exactly what the words I'm looking for is. I don't think it would be user friendly for, like, you know, I work with pre-K, I work with kindergarten, I work with first grade, whereas like a kid blog was much more user friendly for that age group. But EduBlogs is an amazing platform as well, and Weebly, I think it's up to 50 students before you have to start paying. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I'm thinking from last year.
And Wheatley's product is very professional looking, and it's drag and drop. I find it very easy to use. For my pre-service educators, they have a choice to use Wheatley or Google, and the ones that use Wheatley, it just looks so stunning. It looks beautiful.
And you guys don't get any pushback from your districts about using these?
I haven't. I haven't. I don't know. Fingers crossed.
Well, that is true. I did use it for a couple of years before they found out and then shut me down.
I haven't gotten much, but you have to check to make sure. I mean, some of these are designed with kids in mind and child, you know, protection in mind. So you have to make sure that it's HOPA compliant and that you have, you know, all your T's crossed and your I's dotted, and then you can approach them saying, like, look, this is a safe platform for children to use. And I think some of these blog sites have designed it with that in mind.
Mm-hmm. I think somebody's got to stand up and be an advocate for the, you know, the ability to use, for teachers to use them.
You have to find some good examples and share what other classrooms and other students are doing with those blogs as well. Share that with the leadership and say, hey, this is what other schools are doing. This is what other students are doing. Can our students do this as well? And just show the benefit of how blogging can increase X, Y, Z in the classroom, the goals that you're trying to reach.
Yeah, the pushback that I got came from the fact that they're actually produced and that it can't be archived for legal purposes, or so they say. That's what their pushback was. Whereas where you're just using programs and interacting, that's different. But when they're actually producing sentences and words and putting stuff out there, they're concerned about the legal ramifications.
Yeah, I mean, you have to make sure you have all the parent consent forms, you know, media release and all of that. That's something you definitely want to make sure of. I know we had a teacher that I was working with. I'm not sure if the school had the media release forms, but she took it upon herself to go ahead and get media release forms from the parents herself, just for her particular class. So that may be an option as well.
I mean, these are things, too, you have to think about even as adults blogging and putting legalities, especially in regard to like ethics and the ethics agreement that teachers sign and all. I don't think that's all caught up yet, but I think it's things you have to really think about when you're putting something out there. It's out there forever.
Right, it's that digital tattoo, not just a digital footprint that can be washed away.
That's true. I like that.
That's from Twitter. I can't remember who said it, but someone said it. I should have done an if and put it in my Evernote. I think that's a fantastic idea. I definitely have to do that.
Oh, I got notes pages long here.
Awesome. Oh, good. I'm glad you do, because I have nothing. So I'll be glad every shredded document that survives this session. We have just a little bit of time left. And before you go, what I'd like to hear from you is your main takeaway from our talk just now, and what I'm going to do next.
Okay. So my main takeaway was to use the idea of if I favorite a tweet and it goes to my Evernote or it goes to a searchable document that I can find later, Because oftentimes I'll favorite stuff and then forget that I favorited it and why I favorited it. So I think having a backup system for myself, my future self will definitely thank me. So that was a great idea, whoever said that. Also, just a side note, Robert posted a Google Doc that we can all put our Twitter handles on so we can keep in touch. Robert, if you wouldn't mind reposting that, I think that'd be super.
Thanks, Robert.
Okay, so like all my notes, I have TweetDeck. I'm going to definitely do the if TTT. I'm going to for the tool for sorting the information, connecting it to Evernote. I don't know, that might be a next step later on. Pairing the Twitter with the blog, the EduBlog. I've got the Twitter in the classroom, and I've got the pages for the other school. Thank you so much. I think it was Keisha that gave me. I'm going to start blogging. I'm making a commitment. I'm going to start with step 1. And then I've written down the Weebly, the EduBlog, and I'm not going to forget the digital tattoo. Thank you.
Excellent.
EduBlog also has teacher blogging challenges as well for like teachers who are just beginning blogging. So that's something you may want to check out, the EduBlog Teacher Challenge. That's a really neat thing that they do. Definitely check that out as well.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I like the idea that you guys discussed about using student blogs. I am so reluctant because of COPA with middle schoolers, because they're under 13, so I have to be really careful. But, you know, just taking a risk and just getting it done, you know, not making excuses and just trying it, taking the risk, getting the media waivers, and I think it really could help students reflect through a unit. I might not do it the whole year this first time, but maybe just one unit.
Excellent. Be an advocate. Make change.
One thing I just heard a couple of days ago was a site called Quad Blogging. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. Yeah, where you can link up with others. I haven't done it before, but I was really interested when I heard just 2 days ago that you can link up with other schools, and yeah, and like you can even link up with say 3 other schools, and you take turns in. You might be looking at a similar issue or something like that. And you take turns in you know, blog, the kids blog, put up posts, and then you read it and comment back and things like that. It sounds really good.
What's it called?
It's called Quad Blogging. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. Excellent.
Very cool. I did have a question about COPA. I think that Robert was just talking about it. So if my students are over the age of 13, then what implications does that have? Does that mean that they can, that if they so choose, then they can open it up to the public?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Makisha.
I was going to say, Sarah, that I'm not sure. I know that it's only for children under the age of 13 that COPA is really relevant for. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
If that means that they can open it up to the public. You know, I would think that, at least I would hope that teachers would want to, you know, exercise, you know, a judgment call on that and make sure that they still, that even if they are over the age of 13, they still go ahead and get parental agreements on it. Because over the age of 13, I believe just doesn't fall under that COPA protection, I think.
Right. I agree, Makisha. Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'll finish up and say I'm so excited to have done this. This is great. Thank you all for joining in this conversation, and may it continue. I'm looking at the next sessions, but I realize I got to get my son off his iPad pretty soon because it's almost 10 o'clock. So, thanks for joining me for this session. I look forward to seeing some of you in the next session. So, and thanks, Sarah, for hosting.
Thank you so much, Sherry.
All right.
All right, thanks.
See you later. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.